Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Flames Reaction Channel. Now, today's video, I am going to react Coolio. And with that being said, make sure y'all hit the like, comment, and that subscribe button. And let's go ahead and check out some of Coolio and some of his greatest moments of hip hop. Excuse me.
You know, when it comes to the successful West Coast rappers from the 90s, a lot of people forget that Coolio was one of the top guys that made an impact in that time frame. His music was different from Snoop Dogg, Dre, and Eazy-E and them, but see, he wasn't talking about the street gangster stuff. Coolio's music was more about having fun and social issues. He was a very intelligent person and a businessman besides just being a rapper, actor, and a record producer. You know, Coolio nominated for 6 Grammys, sold over 27 million albums worldwide, and has appeared in over 50 movies and TV shows. But right before he passed away, maybe like a month or so, he was talking about a lot of stuff that go down in the industry behind closed doors. He was exposing a lot of things and said he had more info to tell the world, and he wasn't scared of death. And, all of a sudden he just died out of nowhere. Wow. Let's get to his story, right? Now, Coolio's birth name is Artist Leon Ivy Jr., and he was born on August 1st, 1963 in Los Angeles, California. Now, some of the research I was doing on him said he was born in Pennsylvania, but I never heard him say that in any interviews. But he did mention PA in one of his songs. On a song I remember, he did mention PA in that song. But anyway, now growing up after his parents were divorced and his father went to prison, he moved to Compton around the age of 8 years old, and he also had asthma real bad too. He was very asthmatic to the point that he's been hospitalized a lot, but his mother made sure he stayed focused on school and would often send him to the library to read. He loved to read. He was an avid reader, which led to him being an honor roll student. And he skipped the grade because he was so intelligent. He was smart, man. He said he was one of the 4 smartest kids in his elementary school, but he was also a small, short kid that used to get bullied a lot because he got skipped up from 5th grade to the 7th grade, and the older kids used to pick on him. Now, around the age of 12 years old, he fell in love with hip hop and started rapping after meeting his neighbors, who was actually from New York, and they used to bring the hip hop music tapes and the albums with them and throw parties all the time. Now, his first rap name was called Boo Daddy because Boo was actually his nickname that the family gave him. They used to call him Boo. But then one day, him and some of his friends were joking around, and they was joking on him because he was playing the guitar, and they call him Julio Iglesias, like the Spanish singer Julio Iglesias. And the name just stuck, and he later shortened it to just Coolio. Now things started going bad when his mother and stepfather split up, and then she lost her job, which led to her to a lot of drinking, you know. And on top of that, all the bullying he was dealing with at that time led to him joining a gang for protection because, like I said earlier, he was always getting bullied. And to fit in with his gang, he started committing armed robberies for money to buy food, and he ended up getting in trouble He did 10 months in juvie behind one of his friends who actually did the larceny. He just took the rap. But Coolio said he stopped rolling with his gang after he witnessed his first murder in the bathroom at school. And then he witnessed his second murder when his gang beat an outsider to death with a hammer, which made him throw up. Wow.
Mm.
That's when he started rolling with him. But, when that crack cocaine hit, things really started to get bad. And his mother got addicted to drugs, and he fell into the street life very, just real heavy. And he ended up also becoming addicted to smoking crack. He said in an interview that it all started from smoking marijuana with coke and crack in joints. They used to mix it together in a joint. And when they didn't have no weed one day, they just tried the crack by itself, and that's how he became hooked instantly, he said. But to kick the crack habit, because he wanted to get off, he ended up moving to Northern California, up in the mountain area somewhere in San Jose with his father, who was now out of prison. And while he was there, he enrolled into college.
It's a shame so many women.
And became a firefighter through a volunteer firefighter program for drug addicts. Coolio said he stopped doing drugs one day when he found himself arguing over a crack pipe with one of his close friends. That's when he knew he had to stop. And his mother was the one that sent him up to the mountains to clear his mind and get clean and sober because where he was at up there, he couldn't get access to drugs and alcohol. And that's when he went to the community college and worked as a volunteer firefighter. And he also had a job in the airport security. And it was around that time that he started to take rap real serious. And he ended up landing his first recording contract with a small independent company called Primo Records, which later changed the name to Love Nest Records. And he did release a single. The single he released was titled What You Gonna Do, which really didn't make any noise or get him a big buzz or anything. So, look, Coolio was in a bunch of rap groups though early on. He was in a group called Soundmaster Crew. He was in a group called New School, and they had a song called "What Makes You Dance," Force Groove. Then he got in the group called Low Profile, which at the time was signed to Ice T's label called Rhyme Syndicate, and then he was in the WC and Mad Circle with Dub C. But when he was with WC and the Mad Circle, he ended up getting a solo deal with Priority Records, and he did finish a whole album called "To Funk or Not to Funk," but the album was shelved, and he was dropped from the label before he even came out. And when that had happened, that's when times really got rough for him because WC and the Mad Circle ended up hooking up and rolling with Ice Cube. Dub C became Ice Cube's hype man, Crazy Tunes became his DJ, and Big G became his security guard. But see, Ice Cube didn't really know Coolio at the time like that though. So when he asked Ice Cube could he go on the road with him as a bag or a luggage carrier while he was on tour, Ice Cube told him he didn't have enough room for him, which really crushed Coolio because you know he had kids, man. He wanted to make some money, but Ice Cube said no, he didn't have room for him on the tour, and Coolio was crushed, but it made him work harder and to keep chasing his dream. Because now he's angry that he didn't go on tour with him, and after that though, things did get so bad to the point that he had to get on welfare. And the crazy part is fans would recognize him when he was in the welfare lines, when he would cash his government checks. Hey, at that time he had to do what he had to do. He had 3 kids to feed. But he never gave up though. Coolio never gave up. He continued to pursue his rap dream and was determined to make it. And that's when he ended up meeting his manager at the time named Paul Stewart, who was well known in the industry because He had helped Warren G and Montel Jordan get their deal with Def Jam. And Paul Stewart, he liked this demo. The Coolio demo, he loved it. And he started shopping it. He started shopping the demo and he ended up with some offers from Jive Records. Polygram wanted to sign him. And Tommy Boy Records wanted to sign him. But Coolio signed with Tommy Boy Records because they had offered him the most money, which was $25,000 for just a single deal, which led to them asking him to complete a full album after they seen his work ethic. Julio was dropping songs in the studio like crazy. When they seen that, instead of the single deal, they gave him a full contract to do a whole album. So, now with Tommy Boy Records, he released two singles, but on March 8th, 1994, he released that third single, Fantastic Voyage, took him to the top, hitting number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 2 on the Hot Rap Songs Billboard charts. And the song was certified platinum, selling over 1 million copies. Fantastic Voyage was a big deal because a lot of people remember it because of the sample from the legendary R&B group Lakeside back in the 80s. That was their number one hit at that time. You know, that song, the song was big, man. The song got big. And he was nominated for the Best Rap Solo Performance Grammy, but he lost to Queen Latifah's UNITY that year. But I used to love the but I used to love the Fantastic Voyage video. MTV used to have that song in heavy rotation too at that time. Man. I remember recording all that stuff. A couple months later, he dropped the debut album called "It Takes a Thief," which hit number 8 on the Billboard 200 and was certified platinum. On that album, I also like the song called "I Remember." I remember watching that video all the time too, and another song he had on there called Sticky Fingers was on the Poetic Justice soundtrack. Now, after that, 1995, Coolio would drop the biggest song of his career that would take the world by storm. Gangsta's Paradise, featuring LV. Now, how that song came about has been some controversy because Coolio said he came up with the whole idea, and LV claimed that the song was already his, and he asked Coolio to get on it. And for years, Coolio and LV they had a problem, I guess, with each other over who song it was first. But in a Rolling Stone interview, Doug Rasheed, the producer of the beat, said, he was roommates with Coolio and LV's manager, Paul Stewart, right? And it was at Paul's house, who had a recording studio in there. So he sampled the beat from Stevie Wonder's song called Pastime Paradise, and they gave the beat to LV, who at the time was trying to get a deal. So LV did all his singing parts and decided he wanted someone to rap on it. And that's when Coolio walked in and heard it. He loved it and started writing his verses to it, and the rest is history. Because, look, really, before the song got to the Dangerous Mind soundtrack, they was trying to put it on the Martin Lawrence and Will Smith Bad Boys movie, but the label Dangerous Mind was on offered the most money for it. And on August 5th, 1995, the song Gangsta Paradise was released number one in the United States, number one in United Kingdom, number one in Ireland, number one in France, number one in Germany, number one in Italy, Sweden, Austria, Denmark, Netherlands, Norway, Switzerland, Australia, New Zealand, number one. Wow. the song, the song sold over 6 million copies, helped push the Dangerous Mind soundtrack to sell over 3 million copies. That went triple platinum and number one on the US Billboard 200. Plus, Coolio won a Grammy for Best Rap Solo Performance. He beat, look, he won that Grammy that year. He beat Biggie's Big Papa, Tupac's Dear Mama, Skilo, I Wish, and he beat Dr. Dre's Keep Their Heads Ringing. He won Best Rap Video and Best Video from a Film at the MTV Video Music Awards, and won Favorite Rap Hip Hop Artist at the American Music Awards. Then, to capitalize why the song was so hot, he dropped the album. He released his second album titled Gangsta's Paradise, and that album ended up going triple platinum, selling over 3 million copies. And he had some other songs on there too that I like that was very successful, like Too Hot. That hit #1 with JT Taylor from Cool and the Gang. The song 1 2 3 4 Something New. I like that song. I like the song Cruising too. That was a Smokey Robinson sample. I like that song too. You know the song 1 2 3 4 Something New was also nominated for a Grammy the following year, but it lost to LL Cool J's song A Lover. But you know, Gangsta's Paradise, man, helped push that album to man, millions in sales, man. That song Gangsta Paradise, man. The video, I think the video is what really helped with the success of the song when they put actress Michelle Pfeiffer in there face to face with Coolio. Just seeing them like that, it set the tone, man, or something. You know what's crazy? A lot of people don't know that the Dangerous Mind movie was based on a true story from a book called My Posses Don't Do Homework, written by a retired U.S.
All right, y'all. That's it for this video, and I'm out. Peace.